Elias and Anya met in the chaos of a late-night university library. They were both studying architecture, both fueled by the same impossible dream, to design something permanent, something that would define a skyline. Their first date wasn't dinner. It was sneaking onto a skyscraper construction site at 3 a.m. to watch the city wake up from the 50th floor. Their relationship was built on a perfect fusion of skills. Elias was the visionary, the charismatic frontman, the conceptual genius who could sketch a revolution on a napkin. Anya was the engineer, the pragmatic, detail-obsessed builder who turned his wild concepts into safe, buildable realities. They called themselves the Cornerstone. When the rejection letters from major firms piled up, they launched a tiny design collective. Their office was a spare room in a cramped apartment. Their success was immediate and explosive, fueled by their contrasting yet complementary genius. They were inseparable, professionally and personally. Their love was the silent, third partner in every deal, a force so strong it felt like an impenetrable guarantee. Anya often joked, "If you ever lose your way, Elias, just look at my plans. I'll always draw you back to the foundation." The firm, now known simply as Cornerstone Architects, ballooned into a major player. They moved into a massive, glass-walled office, and the scale of their projects shifted from local commissions to international high-rises. With this success came the slow, toxic divergence. Elias, empowered by investor money and global travel, began to change. He became addicted to the height of the buildings, the fame of the features. His designs grew less about human connection and more about spectacle. Impossible, gravity-defying structures that pushed ethical boundaries for the sake of the headline. He was chasing immortality. Anya watched from the ground floor, burdened by the logistics. She spent her days dealing with safety boards, engineering teams, and budgeting, the tedious, crucial work of maintaining the firm's integrity. She tried to maintain the foundation, but Elias was demanding new additions that threatened the whole structure. Their apartment life became a ritual of near misses. Elias was either boarding a plane or just landing. When he was home, he wasn't present. He was constantly on his phone, his voice hushed, chasing the next deal. Anya would leave a note on the fridge that said, "I miss you," and Elias would respond with a post-it the next morning. Saw the note. Need specs on the Tokyo site? ASAP. The ultimate test came with the Zenith Tower, Elias's most ambitious project. A skyscraper designed to defy a dozen safety standards with a revolutionary, untested cantilever system. It was pure ego, but it would make them global legends. Anya vehemently refused to sign off on the final structural plans. She ran the stress test herself. In a quiet, terrifying meeting in their private office, Anya slid the analysis across the table. "This is unstable, Elias. It's a risk we can't take. We built this company on trust and honesty. You're sacrificing people's safety for a headline." Elias didn't look at the data. He looked at her with the cold detachment of a CEO addressing a subordinate. "Anya, you're the anchor. I love you for it. But you're holding us back. I have billions riding on this. We hire engineers to solve problems, not dwell on them. I am the engineer, Elias, and the solution is to make it smaller, safer." He leaned back, his voice low and final. "We can't be small anymore. That apartment is dead, Anya. You need to join me on the 50th floor, or you need to step away." That was the true breakup, not of a couple, but of an ideology. Anya realized the man she loved had successfully built the building of his dreams, but he had lost his foundation, the ethical, grounded soul that she fell in love with. The romantic breakup was swift and agonizing. They signed the final papers. No fighting, just two very rich, very broken people dividing a sprawling, shared empire. Anya took a massive buyout and left Cornerstone. Elias kept the name, the power, and the Zenith Tower, which was already under construction. Anya used her money and her core ethos to launch a rival firm, the Foundation, specializing in sustainable, community-focused, mid-rise architecture. She focused on projects that would bring people together, not just impress them. The breakup became a public, professional war. Every major industry award, every magazine profile, every press release became a silent competition between the spectacular ego of Elias's work and the quiet integrity of Anya's. Anya never once spoke ill of Elias or his work, but she didn't need to. Her buildings were her statement. 2 years after the split, the news broke. Due to a series of unforeseen structural flaws, exactly the kind Anya had warned about, the nearly completed Zenith Tower began to develop catastrophic stress fractures. It wasn't a sudden collapse, but a slow, very public, very humiliating failure. The world watched Elias's legacy crumble under the weight of his own hubris. The press was brutal. Cornerstone Architects collapsed overnight. Elias vanished from the public eye. Anya watched the news, not with triumph, but with a profound, aching sadness. The man she loved had been destroyed by the structure they started together. Months later, Anya was on the site of a community center she was building, a simple, elegant building designed for durability and warmth. She was alone, meticulously checking the alignment of a final beam, when she heard a low cough behind her. It was Elias. He was pale, drawn, and looked decades older. He wore clothes that were too big, and his fire was gone. He walked over to a stack of beams and picked up a scrap of paper that had fallen out of his pocket. It wasn't a new blueprint. It was a wrinkled, faded photograph of the two of them, taken 10 years ago, sleeping soundly amidst the blueprints on the floor of their first tiny apartment. He didn't look at her. He just looked at the wood beam, then down at the photo. "I need your help," he whispered, his voice broken. "Not with a building. With a foundation." Anya, the engineer, looked at the man she once loved more than anything. She didn't offer a job, a hand, or a contract. She simply reached out and picked up a discarded pencil from the dirt. "Tell me," she said, her voice clear and steady, "where did you first lose the plot? Show me the very first line you drew that wasn't honest." It wasn't a question of forgiveness. It was an act of professional triage. She knew that the only way for him to survive was to rebuild him, line by line, starting from the ground up, just as she had always done. Their love was gone, a relic of the past, but the cornerstone. The partnership forged in the fires of ambition and honesty that could, perhaps, still be saved. The new relationship wouldn't be love, it would be redemption. And the work of rebuilding a soul, she knew, was the hardest and most important architecture of all.